Vulcan play is the east to west at the top of the crease than it even is from the point, if you can believe that.
Excellent stuff, buddy. Excellent stuff as always. So appreciate you on a Tuesday, pal. Thanks for doing this.
All right, boys. I might not see you again. Have a great summer.
Oh no! Hey!
No.
What?
Yeah. We got a year-end show here.
We'll talk.
Thanks, Valley.
Buddy, you disappear on us, it's over.
Let's put a pin in that one.
Hey, can we edit that out on the podcast? Valley's telling us he's done for the year.
I think that's fair. It is June.
Great stuff.
We have wrung a lot of juice out of that man.
Yeah.
That sounds terrible. Anyway.
Game time there, Sammy boy.
Sure. It's game time presented by Bet365. Visit the app, latest odds, and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. And in another edition of Deep Regrets that Sam McKee didn't bet, the Conn Smythe futures. Mm-hmm. The favorite for the Conn Smythe that I brought up on this very show mere days ago.
Bam, send it.
It is absolutely Sam Bennett, the favorite for the Conn Smythe Trophy at plus 125. And when I talked about it, it was plus 1,400.
I don't think he needs to score another goal. They just need to win 2 games.
Yeah.
Can I ask you guys how sure you were that he was scoring as soon as he broke in on that breakaway? I was like, I honestly just turned off the TV.
There's no part of the deep where you felt like Skinner had a hope.
No.
Okay.
But hold on.
Is he? Okay, go ahead.
Here's my thing with the whole Sam Bennett's going to win the Conn Smythe thing. No. I think I'm about to make a very reasonable point.
Okay.
If you asked Florida who was more important, before every game I could remove Barkov or Bennett from your lineup, I think they would all say Barkov's our most important guy. If Barkov's not in, I don't think Bennett has the chance to be who he is. And I know it's just about how matchups fall. Bennett plays like 16 and a half minutes.
I know.
Barkov's out there 21-30 against top guys. But he's more important.
But he's more important. Yes, no one will argue that. But Bennett's had more important impact plays, if that makes any sense. And that's what it is. That's what the Conn Smythe is. It's like
Barkov's the wind beneath his wings.
Who stands out when the game's on the line or there's a difference maker in a goal or a play? And Bennett's had a number of those.
For sure.
And he's not the most important player and he's not their best player, but he's had that window where he's been the most impactful.
And he defines their culture more than Barkov does. Like when you think of the Panthers, you think about the guy
but
who
the
hits.
the hit before the breakaway.
Yeah, he plows Pod Coles and then he goes and
come on,
leads the rush on a breakaway.
That was close to a bad scene.
Yeah, it was.
It's
You know,
a
but that
classic
it's a
Bennett
memorable
headhunting.
goal.
yeah, for sure. Listen, no argument. He has been the Florida Panther. You're like, I remember him from that playoff push, or
And
that cup push.
I think he's underrated with his hockey IQ and even his skill.
Kipper, there is zero part of Sam Bennett that is underrated right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the rating of Sam
I mean,
Bennett is.
he
Well,
is-
no.
if anything, he is bordering on extremely overrated.
It wasn't that long ago. Someone on this panel, not me or you,
Yes.
said, "I'm not paying that for 60 points this season." And he
No,
very
51's his career high. Let's be clear.
51. Okay,
Yeah.
worse.
Buddy, 8 years, you're going to get 40-point seasons, and he's going to be 35. And, you it's...
Yeah,
you got to be careful with this deal.
I know.
You want to pay for the future, not the past.
Nah, I
these
disagree.
type of deals that
Do
we're
not be careful.
These type of deals that we're looking at moving forward, they never really age well for anybody.
Fortunately, the cap's going to go way up over his deal. So,
And last thing before we go, another big week in the PGA Tour, U.S. Open this weekend at Oakmont, where I've seen enough videos of rough
Oh
and
my
fast
God.
greens, and they're shaving the fringes, and they're trying to make it look like it's the hardest thing on earth. But Scotty Scheffler is the big favorite at plus 280. Bryson DeChambeau, the next favorite, plus 750. Rory all the way down at 13-1. John Rahm, 12-1. And Xander Schauffele at 24-1 to round out the top 5 for the favorites. So there you go.
You should be able to see some white on a ball.
They cut I heard that they did cut some of the rough.
well, they cut it, but I saw it didn't look like anything was coming off.
It's too hard. It's too hard. It's just stupid.
I'm among the crowd that likes to see these guys tortured a little bit. So,
Anyways, that was Game Time presented by Bet365. Visit the app for latest odds and find out why it's ever ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly.
Okay, we'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll get into a little bit more of what we saw last night and what we didn't like to see out of the Edmonton Oilers. Where was the toughness when you needed it? That and more
Tried.
when we return to Real Kipper and Bourne. As a reminder, this hour of Real Kipper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365. Nick Kiprios, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee. Last night disappointed me for no other reason that I thought that the Oilers could fight fire with fire last night, but I only saw fire from one side.
But didn't you think the Oilers were trying to stick up for themselves, to fight fire with fire? You know, like they didn't go quietly into the night. It was stuff happened.
Yeah, no, I got a little quietly into the night.
Yeah?
Yeah, I got it. I got quietly
like
into the night.
You had Frederick chasing around Bennett.
That's okay. It's okay. That's one good component.
There's a brawl.
Okay.
I don't think they went quiet. I mean, they lost 6-1 in the Stanley Cup Final. So,
But who's just beating up on Ekholm along the boards? Greer?
Greer.
I hated that. That bothered me. It was a bad look.
Like Ekholm ends up in Wallman's arms.
Yes. And I'm telling you, I've been in that position before, and there's a few guys that I felt like could not end the game on the bench. They had to have been escorted off the ice. That's the kind of finish without jeopardizing suspensions or fines are fine. We saw Wallman suspend or fine $10,000. No problem. Pay that all day long. But I hated watching Greer go after Ekholm and then really nothing at the end. And Evander Kane, to me, was the first guy I thought could not finish the game. Like Evander Kane needed to go after somebody and lay a beating. Okay. You know what? Getting a 2-minute high sticking penalty and then a 10-minute misconduct was the easy way out for him last night.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, I get the point. You know, I think a lot of what people in Edmonton are talking about is like they lost their composure. You know, a lot of this seemed to be Florida having fun with it. I understand the fights are not entirely fun here, so maybe this is not the clip for my point.
Well,
that
give
they're having a
Nurse
good
credit
time.
too, because that's a tough guy he fought.
Absolutely.
Nurse is in the top class,
Nurse,
though. He
all
can
the
fight.
respect in the world.
But he can fight anybody. He's in the top class to me.
But there's a few guys that needed to kind of answer like a nurse.
But I do feel that more than, and that's fair point by you. For my point, it's like they didn't handle it well emotionally. It felt like they weren't in control of things. They were just kind of taking it as it happened. Florida, even though Florida was involved in all that stuff, they seemed very composed and, they're very comfortable in that style of game, and they just got Edmonton off their game. So what worries me for the Oilers now is the message is we need to be more composed. We can't take that many penalties. We need to play within ourselves, take a cross check, take a whatever. And now Florida's going to have less sticks on them, more access to the net. Like Edmonton's going to try to not take as many penalties. What did they take 11 last night?
11.
They're going to not take. And if you're
The
Florida,
most
perfect.
since the
Create room for
mid-'80s.
ourselves out there.
Most combined penalty minutes in a Stanley Cup Final game. The most was the Flames and Canadiens in '86. Panthers Golden Knights 23 with 148. Canucks Bruins with 145 in 2011. And last night was the fourth most in the history of the Stanley Cup Final with 140 combined penalty minutes. So bit of a hootenanny out there.
And it was the most PIMs in any playoff game this year, and third most all season long. So that game was out of order.
Yeah. We talk about what makes the Florida Panthers great. And toughness is one thing, but we've said, they have tough guys in their fourth line, but they're not all particularly bruisers.